10 aircraft carriers are either under construction or in the final stages of planning right now, and they will completely change the balance of power at sea. Some belong to the U.S. Navy, some belong to rivals, and every single one of them carries a level of firepower and technology that has never been seen before in history. This is the list every military follower needs to know. Introduction. The world's navies are not standing still. While the U.S. Navy is already the most powerful fleet on Earth, new carriers are being built at a pace that has not been seen since the Cold War. China is racing to catch up. India is making bold moves. And smaller nations are building warships that are rewriting the rules of what a carrier can do. Over the next few minutes, we are going to walk through all 10 of the most significant upcoming aircraft carriers in the world, one by one. Where they are right now, what makes them different, and why they matter to the future of American strength at sea. Before we get into carrier number 1, what country do you think will have the most powerful fleet by 2035? Drop your answer in the comments below. We want to hear what you think. Now let us start with the carrier that every U.S. sailor and military follower is waiting on. Carrier 1, USS John F. Kennedy, CVN-79. The USS John F. Kennedy, hull number CVN-79, is the second Gerald R. Ford-class carrier ever built, and as of January 2026, it is already out on the open ocean completing its builder's sea trials. This ship is nuclear-powered, displaces around 100,000 tons, and is scheduled for full commissioning in March 2027. This carrier spent years in construction at Newport News, Virginia. Delays tied to its electromagnetic launch system pushed the schedule back by nearly 2 years. But here is what matters. The ship tested its EMALS launch system as far back as 2022, and its combat systems the following year. The Kennedy is not just a copy of the Ford. The lessons learned from the Ford's early deployment problems have already been built into this ship during construction. She is going in smarter, stronger, and more ready than her sister ship was on day one. The Kennedy is slated to be homeported at Naval Base Kitsap in 2029, on the Pacific side. That placement alone tells you everything about where the U.S. military sees the next major challenge. Carrier 2, USS Enterprise, CVN-80. The name Enterprise carries more history in the U.S. Navy than almost any other, and the next ship to carry that name, CVN-80, is currently under construction at Newport News, Virginia. The USS Enterprise is a Ford-class carrier with a planned commissioning date of 2029. It is slated to replace the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower in the fleet. One of the most important upgrades that CVN-80 carries compared to the earlier ships in this class is that it benefits from dual ship procurement, meaning the Navy ordered key components for both Enterprise and Doris Miller at the same time, driving costs down significantly. Each carrier in this class is getting cheaper and more refined to build. That is a critical advantage for sustaining American naval power at scale. Carrier 3, USS Doris Miller, CVN-81. CVN-81 is named after Doris Miller, a Navy cook who showed extraordinary bravery during the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. He was one of the first American heroes of World War II. This carrier honoring his name is currently under construction with a projected delivery date of 2032. The USS Doris Miller will replace the USS Carl Vinson in the fleet. It continues the line of Ford-class improvements, with even further refinements built in from the operational experiences of the ships that came before it. By the time Doris Miller reaches the fleet, the Ford class will be a fully proven, combat-tested platform without the early teething issues that slowed the lead ship. Before we dive deeper, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. It costs you nothing but makes a huge difference to us. Carrier 4, USS William J. Clinton, CVN-82. Now here is where the future gets very interesting. CVN-82, named the USS William J. Clinton, was officially announced in January 2025. Construction has not yet begun. The Navy is currently seeking advance funding in its budget request for fiscal year 2027. But CVN-82 carries a significance that goes beyond just being another ship in line. It represents the Navy's commitment to building all 10 Ford-class carriers to fully replace the aging Nimitz fleet one for one. If the program holds, CVN-82 will take the place of the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Each ship after CVN-79 is expected to be less expensive and faster to build than the ones before, thanks to lessons learned. The United States is not slowing down. It is accelerating. Carrier 5, USS George W. Bush, CVN-83. The fifth carrier on our list is CVN-83, the USS George W. Bush. Like CVN-82, this ship has been officially named but not yet started in construction. Budget documents show plans to seek funding in the coming years. Together, CVN-82 and CVN-83 represent the long tail of American carrier power, ships that will still be sailing in the 2060s and 2070s, projecting U.S. strength long after most of today's warships have been retired. The sheer planning horizon of the Ford-class program is something no rival nation can currently match. It is not just a fleet, it is a multi-decade commitment to naval dominance. But here is where the picture gets more complicated and why these American carriers matter more than ever. Because while the U.S. is building, China is not waiting around. Carrier 6. China's Type 004. China's Type 004 carrier program is the most closely watched rival development in naval history right now. Satellite imagery has confirmed 4 EMALS catapult tracks on the flight deck, meaning this will be a full catapult launch carrier, similar in concept to a Ford-class ship. Defense analysts believe the Type 004 could reach operational readiness as early as 2027 or 2028 if China maintains its current construction pace. Its projected air wing is serious, up to 48 stealth fighters, early warning aircraft, and even stealth strike drones. Unlike China's current Fujian carrier, which runs on conventional power, credible reports suggest the Type 004 may be nuclear-powered. That one word, nuclear, changes everything. A nuclear-powered carrier has nearly unlimited range. It does not need to stop for fuel. It can stay at sea as long as its crew and supplies last. If the Type 004 is nuclear-powered, China will have crossed a major threshold in carrier capability, one that only the U.S. Navy has held for decades. This ship alone is one of the strongest arguments for why CVN 80, 81, 82, and 83 need to be built and built fast. Carrier 7. China's Type 005. China is not stopping at 4 carriers. The Type 005 is reportedly already in the early stages of development, and according to analysts, its sea trials could begin as early as 2027 or 2028, with full operational capability potentially reached by 2030. The Type 005 is expected to push even further. What matters here is the pace. China launched Liaoning, Shandong, and Fujian in rapid succession. Each one was a generational leap forward. If Type 004 and Type 005 both reach the fleet before 2032, China will have 5 operational carriers, more than any other nation except the United States. That shift in numbers is not just a military statistic, it changes the entire strategic calculation in the Pacific, and it is why U.S. military readiness matters more now than it has in a generation. Carrier 8. India's INS Vishal. India is one of America's most important partners in the Indo-Pacific, and its upcoming carrier program reflects just how seriously the country is taking the threat from China. The INS Vishal, also known as IAC-3, is India's most ambitious naval project in history. The planned ship is designed at around 65,000 to 75,000 tons. It is intended to carry up to 55 aircraft, including manned fighter jets and autonomous combat drones. As of April 2026, India's Defense Research Agency has been advancing work on integrating unmanned systems directly into the carrier's air wing, making it potentially the first carrier designed from the ground up to operate a combined manned and unmanned air group. If fully approved and funded in 2026, construction and full integration would push the ship's entry into service toward the late 2030s. It is a long timeline, but the intent behind it, to field a nuclear-powered supercarrier capable of matching China's Type 004, signals a level of naval ambition from India that would have been unthinkable just 15 years ago. Carrier 9, South Korea's new naval strike ship. South Korea had a plan for a traditional light aircraft carrier known as the CVX. That plan has now been officially revised into something arguably more forward-looking. In May 2025, South Korea's Defense Ministry presented a new concept to Parliament, a large multi-purpose command ship built specifically to operate unmanned combat aircraft, drones, rather than conventional fighter jets. The new vessel will be similar in size to the original 30,000-ton CVX concept, around 260 meters long. But instead of carrying F-35 fighters, it will carry dozens of combat, surveillance, and strike drones alongside helicopters. A South Korean defense official stated the decision reflects the goal of, quote, taking into account the future of naval warfare and the contribution of artificial intelligence to unmanned systems. This ship likely enters service around 2033, and what it represents is a preview of where all carrier aviation may eventually go. Automated, lower risk, and harder to counter than anything built before it. Carrier 10. Turkey's second carrier. Turkey already operates the TCG Anadolu, the world's first warship designed to launch and recover combat drones at sea. In January 2024, President Erdogan officially approved the construction of a second carrier, one that will be designed and built entirely within Turkey without foreign assistance. The new ship will feature 3 flight runways, carry a mix of manned and unmanned aircraft, and include an advanced domestic catapult system under development. Turkey's defense industry has made remarkable progress in recent years, and this second carrier signals the country's intent to become a genuine mid-tier naval power in the Mediterranean and beyond. It is still in the planning and early design phase, but the fact that Turkey, a NATO ally, is building its second carrier domestically shows how far naval technology has spread beyond the traditional powers. Conclusion: 10 carriers. 5 from the United States. 5 from the rest of the world. Every one of them tells the same story. The era of aircraft carrier power is not winding down. It is expanding faster than at any point since World War II. The U.S. Navy holds the lead. But that lead requires constant investment, constant construction, and constant commitment. The carriers in this list are the reason that commitment matters. They are the future of sea power, and the future is already being built. If you want to stay up to date on military strength, naval power, and what is coming next,